I'd love to start our practice this morning with a little breath. And whether you're seated or lying down, see if you can sustain attention for about 10 rounds of breath. And you can either note breathing in, breathing out, or you can count one for the full inhale and exhale, and then start all over again. 10 breaths on your own. And keep going until your 10 rounds are complete. You may have been faster or still going. It's all good. And take a second to reflect on how many times thinking or, excuse me, interruptions or those little vrittis, the fluctuations may have popped in. A simple container of 10 is usually digestible for us. It may have taken a minute and a half or 2 minutes to get through. And it's a really good way to just check in with what might be present for you this morning in the thinking mind, fluctuations in the body, or energy that's moving through you. And the simple counting and experiencing of the breath. And we're on our home stretch here for our study of the Sutta for mindfulness. Today, we're exploring the 6 sense bases internally and externally. And one of my teachers, I think I've shared with this group, has this really cool way of exploring or explaining the sense bases as a doorway. So the way that the external world comes into your internal experience, there is both the experience itself, or the element, and then the way that it passes through the doorway. So let's break that down a little bit before we come into some silence and some exploration. We have the eyes themselves. Hopefully they're staying closed. The eyes being the door frame. We have the nose itself, the nose being the door frame. We have the tongue or the mouth, the door frame. We have the skin, or particularly the hands. We have the ears. All of these as door frames. And then you can think about the stimulus that enters through that door frame. Visual input comes through the eyes. Olfactory, or that smell, which goes through the nose. Taste and flavor, which goes in through the mouth. Texture, or temperature, moisture that is felt through the skin, and again, particularly through the hands, and sound that comes in through the ears. And our ability to experience fully what is true and what is here can be impacted by how open that door is. So whether the door is closed in its frame, either physically because the physical body is blind or your nose is clogged because of sinuses or allergies, or the ears are closed because of earplugs. You get the picture here. Or even the skin closed off from cold weather or rain. Or you can think about these doorways as closed because of some kind of activity in the mind. A lot of times in practice, I go back to eyes closed because there is a huge volume of information that comes in through the eyes. And that sense, that experience of the world, all of that information that comes in through the eyes often takes precedence, especially in a world where we are heavily reliant on information. Eyes take over. So for our practice today, consider you can use your eyes if that is something you want to work on, or you may spend your time here choosing a different sensory input and sense experience as your object of focus for today. If you're going with smell and you're in the room, I have incense going. If you're at home, maybe you're smelling the laundry detergent or your deodorant, or if you just showered, whatever it is. If you want to go with touch, you can very gently, this is a practice I love from Deepak Chopra, 2 fingers together, like your thumb and your index or your thumb and your middle finger, rub those fingers together as if you have a single grain of sand that you're rolling around. That's kind of the level of attention we're focusing on here. Or listening. Listening is one of the best ways that we can tune into, especially the change of the season. This early in the morning, you may hear the birds starting to chirp, something that has been a little bit absent, but with migratory patterns, everybody is coming back. Spend a little bit of time before you commit. You can open Explore here. Where is the doorway that you want to explore today? And are you choosing that doorway because it's wide open, incredible, or because it's partially closed and you want to explore what it might be like with attention to crack that door open a hair more? Play around a little bit before we settle. Seeing as an option. Smell, taste, hear, touch. Eyes, nose, mouth, ears, hands, all of these separate from the thing, the experience, the outside stimulus. Once you've settled on the physical part of the body, let that be your home base, the place you keep coming back to as the door frame for the outside world to come in. You may notice that the door is partially closed because of thoughts in the mind or the to-do list or what's coming next, rumination. It happens. Every moment is a new opportunity to widen that door just a crack, just a hair. Maybe it swings closed again. Keep coming back. This is our practice. And you can continue to explore whatever object, whatever doorway, whatever gateway from the environment into your experience. Try not to take it too personally. And I'm noticing the object I've chosen is feel. I'm using my thumb on my fingers and noticing a lot of ridges on my fingernails, unpolished. The skin is a little dry around my fingernail bed. It's all good. There's no need to overanalyze like I just did everything that's coming up. Or if you're hearing noises that are something that you're deeming annoying or not part of the practice, try to just come back to the raw experience of the thing. Everything's allowed to be here in this practice. We're not trying to change or shape anything in particular. We're exploring how open or closed the door in the frame is. Stick with it. information tends to flow really quickly from the outside world into our processing centers. The stimulus moves through the doorway, whether it's open or closed, partially cracked. That raw stimulus experiences its first filter as it enters into our body, then very quickly passes through the route of least resistance. So in our brain, however we have it wired, whether judging or criticizing or being open to the raw experience, that typically happens in fractions of a second. So when we slow down here, isolate the experience of the stimulus itself in an open, abundant way, we can start to carve new pathways of experience. And in this way, we get to take this experience off the cushion and into the rest of the day. This is the practice that opens us up to the richness of the world. Jack Kornfield was recounting a conversation he had with Ajahn Chah, one of his primary teachers in the Thai forest tradition, and was talking about a student who went into the cave or the forest, wherever it was, and was practicing deep asceticism, so withdrawing from all of the sensory world as much as he could, stopping eating, becoming malnourished, and seeing if that was the path to liberation from this cycle of conditioning and rebirth. And when this student came back to Ajahn Chah and was asking why enlightenment hadn't come from all of this deprivation of the body, Ajahn Chah laughed and said, "This is an embodied practice. You can't be here now unless you are here to the full richness of our experience. It doesn't take precedence, but it isn't to be completely disregarded." Embodiment is one of those gateways to living fully and experiencing this earthly realm as much as we can. So take it for what it's worth. If precedence has occurred in the mind recently, try dipping into the body. You can stay with the object and the doorway you've chosen, or find something else for our last few moments together here. And we're going to close our practice in the same way we started. Find those 10 rounds of breath. This is an experience in the body. Notice rising, falling. See if you can focus a little bit more clearly. Start your 10 breaths. And stay with your 10 breaths if you've already finished. A little pause. Consider how you can bring this practice off the mat, off the cushion, off the chair, into the rest of your day. Where the door is closed or slightly open, is there opportunity to push it wide open? Is one of the sensory inputs, door frames, taking in too much information for the other sensory doors to also be open? And when in doubt, come back to the breath. Finding hands at heart center if that serves you. When we close our practice, may the merits of this practice be of benefit to all sentient beings, ourselves included in the circle of compassion. And thank you for your practice. Thank you. Thanks online.